everybody, I'm back. I finally got Movie Maker again, so I can make videos again. I often see a lot of videos and articles about if tracing is bad, and I wanted to put my input on it. So here it is. Is tracing bad? Well, yes and no. It really depends. A lot of people have this thought that if you trace, you're cheating, and it's easier to make your picture look better without progressing in drawing freehand. At least that's the myth that goes with it. But actually, that couldn't be further from the truth. People can trace and still be really crappy at drawing. Don't believe me? I can give you an example based on how I used to draw. Here's a picture I made when I was much younger, age 13 to 14. I traced it back then. And look at how crappy it is. Now compare it to my drawings nowadays, where it's rare if I ever do any tracing. So, myth debunked. Just because you trace doesn't mean it's automatically going to make your artwork look a whole lot better. But still, is tracing bad? Not really, depending how you go about it. Actually, there are a lot of professionals that do tracing, believe it or not. For example, those who make manga usually take pictures of the world around them and then trace over the backgrounds. You know, just to speed up the pace of making the comic. There are professional artists and comic makers as well who do tracing because they usually don't have time to spend a whole lot of hours on making their pieces. Sometimes where they work it's urgent and they have to meet a deadline really quickly, so they don't have time to be making it as perfect as possible freehand. However, this doesn't mean you should keep tracing all the time or even full pictures. If you trace, you still have to make it unique and your own and not copy something completely from someone else, because then technically it's art thievery. I've had lots of college and university teachers tell me the same thing. Tracing is another form of art if you use it properly. In fact, they also told me not everybody is actually very good at tracing in the first place. Some can do freehand better and some can do tracing better, and some can't do tracing and some can't do freehand. Tracing doesn't automatically make it better if you lack the skill to do it. If you disagree, go back to the beginning of the video when I showed my crappy trace drawing from years ago when I was 13. The college and university teachers also told me there is no right way to draw. Everybody has their own method, and whatever method works for them is not a bad thing at all. People can be judgmental and quick to jump to conclusions when they don't draw a certain way that they do, or that others expect them to. For a long time, I thought tracing was bad as well. One time my friend came along and saw a picture that I made. I was proud of it, and she asked did I trace it or freehand, and I felt so offended that she'd asked if I traced it. I said obviously it was freehand, and then she explained to me that tracing really isn't that bad, and that it's a skill in itself. She told me that her university teacher taught her that as well, and that's why I started looking it up more and asking other college and university teachers their opinion, and they pretty much all said the same thing. Some might be wondering, Kuzai, do you trace? And I say, no, not really. I mostly copy. I usually look at a picture and use it as reference and then draw something right next to the picture that is similar to it. That way, I can hone my skills that way. So remember, tracing isn't the best way to hone your skills, but it's not bad either. It can hone some of your skills better if that's the way you learn. People learn differently, and that's fine. So please don't shame anybody who does trace, because it might just be how they learn or what they're best at when making art. Remember that even professionals do it from time to time, to finish something quickly because they don't have time to do it, or because that's how they do it best. Everyone has their own method of making artwork, and you shouldn't shame them for it, because there's no right way to make artwork. If you want more information on this matter, there's a nice article I found recently that talks about it. I suggest you give it a read, because it's really well said. A little side note, my friend who told me all of this when I got offended when she asked if I traced, she's an artist herself. She makes children's books, and she's a professional at it, so I think that says a lot. Anyway, I hope this video was educational for you. I really wanted to put this out there because I keep seeing a lot of people getting shamed for doing this. But I wanted to make this video to let everybody know that it's not a bad thing, and you shouldn't be shaming people for it. And it doesn't matter how they make their artwork. It's not your decision. You should never be worried about how it's made, but rather the quality of it. Have a nice day, everyone.